Hey guys,
Hi.
welcome back to another episode of Fact
Fact
or
or
Fiction
Fiction
Friday.
Friday.
We have a good one for you today.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right.
So,
So if you guys missed us last week, um, blame me. I got sick, and so we are here with another episode of Fact or Fiction Friday, and we just do. We really want to say thank you to everyone who watches our videos, who supports us. We had an incident happen. Was it last Thursday or Friday? When we seen another YouTuber doing fact or fiction and claiming that no one's ever done it before. Uh,
yeah.
she's doing something a little different than us, but it just kind of made me feel like, like I'm ready to grow. I'm ready for our channel to get bigger. So those that tune in every Friday, those who tune in to our other videos, just know that you are very much appreciated. We do this because we want people to see it, and it
hmm
feels really good when people get to see it. And so we're small now, but hopefully, we don't stay small forever.
Yeah.
So, all right, so let's go ahead and get into the story BS detectors.
Yep.
Put them up, and let's get started.
All right. So, an abandoned hospital was broken into by a couple of thieves. They would find things that they thought were valuable, but it will lead to a string of devastation, sickness, and death.
Ooh, okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So the setting of this story is a small town in South America around the late 1980s. Two men whom we will call Alberto and Warren. Alberto and Warren. They decide to break into an abandoned hospital that was usually guarded by security, but for some reason security wasn't there, so they took advantage of this. They were hoping to get some scrap metal to be able to sell. They needed money. And so they entered the partially demolished site and they exited with their presumed valuables in a wheelbarrow and they went over to Alberto's house to examine it.
Hmm. At the house, they began to disassemble the medical equipment to see what was inside and how much valuable scrap metal was there. Once they got it open, they found the metal capsule that they began to try to open. Not long after, they both became ill and began vomiting, and they still tried to open the capsule anyways. The next day, they were still sick, and Alberto was also feeling dizzy and had diarrhea along with a swollen left hand.
All right, so finally, 3 days after stealing it, they managed to puncture it with the screwdriver, it being the metal capsule that they found. Alberto is astounded by what he sees inside. The content of the capsule was a blue fluorescent substance, unlike anything he has ever seen. Now, more than ever, they're convinced this is valuable.
Mm-hmm.
They stick the screwdriver in there and they scoop some of the substance out to better examine it. And they start to think maybe it's like gunpowder. And so they try to set it on fire, but it doesn't burn. It doesn't ignite. It's not flammable. Still unsure of what they have, they decide to go on and sell it along with everything else that they found.
Making that money.
And they sell this to a local scrap yard. The owner of the scrap yard notices the glow from the capsule, and he too is intrigued and he takes it home. He would call over friends and family to come see it. They all scoop some out, examine it, trying to figure out what it is. And then soon after this, just like the two guys before, his wife fell ill. He then sold all the material to another scrapyard. He said, okay, I bought this. Let's see if I can get more money,
Mm-hmm.
And so he sells it. He was unaware that his brother had took some of that material home and it fell into the hands of his young daughter.
Mhm. The little girl, who was the niece of the scrapyard owner, noticed a pretty glowing substance while she was eating her lunch, and she began to play with it. She rubbed some of it on her skin, and since it was on her hands, and while she was eating, she consumed it. She also fell sick. Now, several people were sick. The wife of the original scrapyard owner started to put the puzzle together and realized that she and her niece were sick because they both came in contact with the strange material. So she went to the second scrapyard to retrieve it and to put it in a plastic bag and took it to the hospital. She explained her theory of how this substance being the cause of the problems. It was determined that what they had was very dangerous radioactive material and that the abandoned hospital it was stolen from was an old cancer treatment facility. This substance was given in very small doses for radiation therapy and monitored the entire time. It was very toxic and would never be played with how these people was playing with it. The government was informed and the media was notified, and every place that the substance was in was now considered dangerous. Once the word spread, over 130,000 people turned up to see if they were exposed, and of those, about 250 people were found to have been exposed, and only 20 of those needed treatment. Alberto, one of the original people to have contact, lost several fingers, and his partner Warren lost part of his arm. Four people would die as a result of the radiation poisoning. Two of them were the workers in the at the first scrapyard, the ones who were tasked with getting the substance out of the capsule. Another was the wife of the scrapyard owner, and the other was the niece who accidentally ate some of it.
All right, so we told you guys a story about some thieves who broke into a cancer unit and stole some radioactive material, putting a lot of people in danger and causing four to lose their lives. What do you guys think? Do you think the story is fact or fiction?
Yep,
Go ahead
comment
and let us
below.
know.
All
All
right,
right.
BS detectors. This story is
Fact.
fact.
This is the story of the Goiânia accident that took place in Goiânia, Goiás, Brazil. And I think we should put that on the screen because I'm not even sure if I'm saying this right, guys.
Mm-hmm.
But it happened in Brazil on September 13th of 1987. So was anyone around? Anybody remember this happening? Let us know down in the comments. We changed the name of the two thieves um, to Alberto and Warren, but they were actually Roberto dos Santos Alves and Wagner Mota Pereira. Pereira.
Padetta?
Pereira. I can't say it. And when they broke into the hospital, they had no idea that they were in a dangerous place. The city, however, knew that this was dangerous, and that's why they had it guarded by security. They were trying to figure out what to do with all these abandoned materials. There was lawsuits going on, figuring out like how to, the best way to get rid of this stuff. And the people who owned it knew, like they warned them, that this is very dangerous. If any of this falls into the wrong hands, they were talking like bombs can be made. It's dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get this stuff out of here. And all the people, oh,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead.
All the people who got sick got really sick. From losing hair and burns on their skin to things like internal bleeding. All of those who died suffered a lot. The homes that the radioactive material was in were cleaned out and demolished, and they did test the soil on the lots to see if there were any more radiation. This was a devastation for Brazil, and it gained national attention. Time magazine called it one of the world's worst nuclear disasters, and it is called Brazil's Chernobyl, which is another disaster that happened the year before where the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded.
All right, so the little girl's death sparked a riot because she was going to be buried, and the community thought that she would poison the land. So, like, she had all this radiation in her, and it can be absorbed into soil and things like that. So, she actually was buried in a special casket that was lined with lead. All right, so this is today's story. Many details. I recommend, if you're not familiar, that you look into it. Also look into the Chernobyl incident. These, radioactive material, they cause devastation. Just from digging in there, limbs were lost, like, internal bleeding, things like, just horrible. Like, and yeah, I never heard of this. Heard of it maybe, I don't know. I think I heard of it this year, maybe, for the first time. And then, of course, you guys know me. I looked into it.
Yeah, I never heard about it.
Yeah, so I do know, like, a little bit about radioactive material, that if you own something that's proven, to be radioactive, the government will look into it, see how radioactive it is, if it's safe to have in your home, and it has to be registered with the government in order for you to keep it. Because this stuff is dangerous. So, and as always, if you've never heard this story, if this is your first time hearing this story, please share this video with a friend. We want to spread the knowledge. That's our thing with this channel. We want to not only entertain, let you guys, play a fun guessing game, but we also want to bring awareness to things, like certain topics we've talked about on our channel that we feel like, is something that there's a lesson in it. And this story here is the lesson. If you don't know what you got, be safe. Like, don't just be digging into some weird glowing material and not expecting it to be dangerous. This could have been avoided. These guys, for one, shouldn't have been breaking into this abandoned hospital. That's where we went wrong at first. And then second, they're prying into something that's already making them feel sick, and they don't quit. They don't say, you know what, I'm done. Let's take this back. Let's get rid of it. No, they give it to someone else to make that family sick. Yep. That second family lost 2 family members behind these guys breaking in this hospital. And so we just want just to spread the word that be safe, kind of off topic, but kind of not. There's so many people losing their lives doing drugs that they don't know what's in it. They think that they're safe, that I've done this so many times, and now you got a substance that's laced with something and you don't know what you're putting in your body. Let's, be safe, guys. And again, off topic but on topic at the same time. I'm tired of reading these headlines, And so again, we appreciate you guys, BS detectors. Thank you for your support. Hope you continue to support us, and we will continue to put out good content for you guys.
So like, share, subscribe, and tell everybody about the BS station, because we out here. And until next time, bye. As they say, trouble don't last always. Them old folk.
What does that have to do? What is it?
It just sounded good.
Okay.
It was very toxic, and would never be played with. Time magazine called it one of the world's worst nuclear disasters, and it is called Brazil Chernobyl.
Chernobyl.